You saw him move. 4 seconds of footage, 4 seconds of 2 minutes trailer, a 40,000 years of certainty cracked down in the middle. The 11th edition cinematic showed the Emperor in 3 forms at once, a god in a golden armor, a corpse wrapped in wires, and something in between, something with flesh still clinging to his corpse, with one eye open, looking at you. Games Workshop wants you to think it's just artistic license, that you get to choose which version is real, but they showed you the empty throne, they showed you the golden throne with nobody sitting in it, and you don't show an empty throne unless you want people to ask what happens when it's not empty anymore. So let's ask it, what comes off the throne? Not a savior, not a rebirth, not the golden age the Imperial cult has been singing about 10,000 years. The truth is worse. The Imperial has a plan for the day the Emperor wakes up, and it's not a welcome party, it's not a coronation, it's a kill order. To understand what happens when the Emperor leaves the throne, you have to understand what the throne actually is. It is not a life support machine. The Imperium tells you it keeps the Emperor alive. The Ecclesiarchy preaches that 1,000 psyches a day are sacrificed to sustain their god. The pilgrims who crawl through the eternity gate of the knees believing their devotion is what keeps the astronomical burning. All of that is a lie, or close enough to one that it doesn't matter. The Golden Throne is a cage. It is designed by the Emperor himself, built from the dark age of technology. Its purpose was never keep a corpus breathing. Its purpose was to open a door. Beneath the Imperial Palace, beneath the throne itself, there is a bridge, a gateway to the webway. The sub-dimension network the Eldari used to cross the galaxy without touching the warp. The Emperor spent centuries reconstructing the gate in secret. It was the centerpiece of his great plan. A future where humanity didn't need psyches. A future where mankind traveled between the stars without ever brushing against the realm of chaos. Magnus the Red destroyed that future with a single act of loyalty. He tried to warn the Emperor of Horus' betrayal. He broke through every psychic ward around the Terra in a desperate act of loyalty, and in doing so, he shattered the gateway and opened a door that can never be closed. Demons flowed the webway tunnel, an infinite tide of chaos pouring directly to the foundation of the Imperial Palace. The Emperor did not sit on the throne to survive Horus' final blow. He sat on it to hold that door shut. Every second for 10,000 years, every microsecond of agony, not keeping himself alive, keeping everything else out. The Adeptus Custodes do not guard the Emperor from assassins, they guard the door. The companions who stand in the throne room, the 300 who never leave, the helmets that never comes off, they are not watching for a blade, they are watching for a breach, and the breach is coming. The Golden Throne is dying. This is not speculation, it is confirmed. The Adeptus Mechanicus, the only organization the Imperium that understand even a fraction of the throne technology, can maintain it, but they cannot repair it. The knowledge has been lost. The blueprints were never recorded. The machine god's greatest work is running on a patchwork and prayers. The throne is degrading. There are systems that have already failed. Systems that the Mechanicus has jury-rigged, bypassed, or simply abandoned because they can no longer work. Every repair is a guess. Every guess brings them closer to the last failure. And outside the Golden Throne, the galaxy is getting worse. The Great Rift has torn the Imperium in half. The Cicatrix Maledictum, a wound in reality itself, breathes warp energy into the material universe. Psychic awakenings are happening at an unprecedented rate. Demonic incursions are more frequent. The barrier between realms is thinner than ever. This puts more strain on the throne, more pressure on the door. And the being sitting on that door, the being whose head is shut for hundreds of centuries, is not what he was. The Emperor is changing. The cinematics show you 3 forms, the past, the present, and something emerging. The Grey Knights know what happened next. Not because they theorize it, not because they debated on some inquisitorial forum, but because the Emperor told them. In August 2025, the 10th edition Grey Knights Codex revealed the contents of the most secret documents in the Imperium of Man. A document that has existed in the lore since 2011. A document locked in a wooden box that only one living being, the Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights, is permitted to open. The Terminus Decree. This is what it says. The Master of Mankind can never be allowed to leave the Golden Throne, not returning to life, not to reborn in another's body, not to ascend as a warp entity of any kind. And should any of those things occur at any point, for any reason, the Grey Knight must return to his terrible duty. No matter what forces seek to oppose them, no matter who stands in their way, even if they gotta cut through Custodes and Sister of Battles, their counterpart. Sit with that for a moment. The Emperor, the being their entire Imperium worship as a god, wrote a kill order on himself. He entered through a chapter of Psychic Space Marines who were created specifically to fight chaos. He told them, "If I come back, put me down." At least if all of this is true or is just a lie made by the Inquisition. The Grey Knights know what the Emperor is. They know what he nearly became. And they are armed, trained, and sworn to be the one force in the galaxy that can act when every other Imperial institution will be paralyzed by fate. Think about what this means for the moment the throne fails. The Adeptus Custodes have one sacred duty: protect the Emperor. They have guarded for 10,000 years. They will not step aside. They will not let anyone near him. The Grey Knights have one sacred duty: enforce the Terminus Decree. If the Emperor rises, they must act. If the entire 10,000 stands in their way, 10,000 Custodes and an entire chapter of incorruptible Space Marines, both created by the Emperor, both certain they are doing his will, both armed with the best weapons humanity has ever forged, and they will kill each other before anyone else even reaches the throne room. But the Terminus Decree is not the Emperor's only fail-safe. It's not even the most violent one. It is merely the one he trusted to outsiders. The second fail-safe, the last fail-safe, he gave it to his most human son, Vulkan. Of all Primax, Vulkan was the one who cared the most about lives of ordinary humans, choosing specifically him to build a weapon. It is called the Talisman of the Seven Hammers, trying to do one thing: destroy Terra if the throne fails completely. Not to save the Emperor, not to buy time, it is the problem entirely, and only Vulkan can activate it. It is brutal and absolute. If the Emperor cannot hold the door shut, then the demonic incursion of the fires will consume Terra and spread outward. A new eye of terror, a second wounded reality, this one directly into the heart of the Imperium, and the Talisman prevents that. The Terminus Decree and the Talisman both raise a darker question, one the Grey Knights kill all they confront directly but cannot fully answer. What if the thing sitting on their throne isn't the Emperor anymore at all? During the Siege of Terra, in the final hours of the Horus Heresy, as the reality itself was bleeding to the warp, the Emperor made a choice. He was losing. Horus, swollen with the power of all four Chaos Gods, was stronger than him. The Emperor could not win with his own strength alone, so he reached for more. He drew the unlimited power of the warp itself, so as he did, something began to happen to him, something irreversible. He began to ascend, not as the savior god the Imperial court prays to, not as a guardian of humanity, but as the Dark King, a fifth Chaos God. Taught by Olanius, a perpetual, an old friend from the Emperor's distant past, a man who should not have been there, could not have been there, and yet he was. Olanius did not fight the Emperor, he simply made him look at what he was become, and then the Emperor, for perhaps the last time, made a human choice, the part of himself that had reached for godhood. The Emperor shed, his love, his hope, his compassion did not disappear. He became something else, the Star Child, a fragment of the Emperor's soul, carrying everything that made him human, lost in the war. And this is where the Lord circles back to the Terminus Decree and making it all terrifying. The Star Child is not just lost, he's growing. Cardinal of the World Bearers treats it as existential threat. Here's the nightmare at the heart of his story. The Emperor could come back as one of two things: the Star Child, the humanity he threw away purified by 10,000 years of genuine faith and sacrifice, or the Dark King, the god of annihilation he nearly became, now fed by the worship of trillions and the agony of 100 centuries on the throne. And the Grey Knights have no way to know which one he will be, and neither do we. This edition cinematic show you this tree form, show you something else. In the final seconds, the light of the throne, the golden beacon of the Astronomicon surrounded by the closing darkness, the storms of chaos pressing in, the lights flickering, growing smaller. Workshop is not telling you a story about the Emperor returns, they are telling a story about the Imperium last days. It was never whether the Emperor is coming back, the question is what comes back with him, and what is already waiting, armed, armored and sworn to make sure he never leaves the throne alive. So let me know in the comment what is about to happen, and let me know if the Grey Knights are doing the right, or let me know if the Emperor deserves to rise. As always, thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.